What are we here for? What do you truly want? When change is not enough, what do you do? What are we here for? What do you truly want? When change is not enough, what do you do? Let's talk about it, the problems we face. Let's fight hatred, no time to waste. The mind is naked, we can see it without an X-ray. Life is easy if we work together. We're the keepers, we're the people, we're all equal, filled with purpose. The past has pain, it'll drive you, even make you take aim. But together is where we should aim. Together is where we should. What are we here for? What do you truly want? When change is not enough, what do you do?
You're listening to the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex 45. Man, what a race weekend. That's all I got to say. It's one of the best I've seen all year. We had a little bit of everything and what could have been, should have been, penalties, not penalties, who can get away with what. We're going to dive into that with the guys. But before we do that, I want to thank all fans for commenting, liking, subscribing, keeping us engaged, trying to keep us on our toes, maybe even making some of us have to hire a bodyguard or two. Definitely shout you guys out. We appreciate everything you're doing. Go to our website and check out the Patreon page so you can subscribe and become a subscriber. For $1, you can be a subscriber and get some really cool stuff and help us continue to do what we're doing here. I want to thank the sponsors, Woodcraft, Pirelli Tire. Shout out to Mark Tents Motorsport. Check him out when you go to the track, man. He got the hookup. I mentioned Rexy Fortyfive, Rexy Be Forever Cool, all that fun stuff. But with no further ado, man, let's get the guys in. First up, but not last, TJ, man, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great. How you doing over there?
I'm good, man. You sound like you're trying to try out for one of the Godfather 5 or 6 part, man. What's good, man? How you doing?
Much, just can't complain. It was a really good race weekend, so can't wait to chop it up about it. So,
All right,
yeah, and it's just getting ready to talk about racing.
I mean, it's kind of tough. Your Celtics look like they're the favorite of coming out of the East. So I know you must be all into that as well.
I don't want to talk about it every time because it sounds like a broken record, but the Celtics are looking really good. I don't want to jinx anything, but yeah, we definitely gonna be moving on to the next round.
All right, no doubt. That's what's up. Speaking of next round, let's move on down the line. Reese, man, welcome to the show, man. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, it was good, man. Just trying to find some parking for the night and relax. That's about it. But it was a good weekend. Ready to chop it up with your boys and talk about some craziness that happened over the weekend.
No doubt. I mean, that's the best part of a night when we about to pull in and park for the night, man. I know that for sure.
No lie. Long days, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit different. Your truck is a lot bigger than the truck I'm pulling, but still nice to park and put your feet up, put the brakes on, and know you ain't moving for a little bit.
Exactly. You know how it is. It's just another day.
All right, no doubt. We're gonna chop it up, man, for sure. We're gonna keep it moving. Lewis, man, welcome to the show, man. How you doing tonight, man? You're on mute, Lewis. I think you know what I'm saying,
Sorry, I
man.
was on the phone before. I didn't want to get the conversation picked up on, but I'm doing good, man. Long weekend, long week, another long week coming up, another long weekend, another long week next week. It just feels like one constant day rolling into a next at this point, man. It's going to be a last 4 weeks have been tough, and like I think the next 5, 6 weeks are just going to be running the gamut there.
Yeah. No, I feel you there, man. I at the beginning of the season, we were talking, what's going to happen and all that. Now, like just partway through it, it's the same thing, man. The last 4 or 5 weeks has been ridiculous. Next weekend, it just goes. I'm not complaining, but it's like it's nice to pull the truck up and park for the night and get that appreciation because when you wake, you know what you got going in front of you.
Yeah, this past weekend went by super fast. I had like one of those. It's always those last minute waiting for something to arrive from UPS. As soon as it arrives, get in the truck and take a drive to where you have to go, do the event. Meet the right people, shake the right hands, kiss the right babies, and then pack everything up, come home, get through the work week, and then just kind of keeps rolling from one day to the next, man. It's a nonstop roller coaster ride.
My suitcase stays out. I don't even put it away. It's crazy. I ain't complaining, man. We got a lot to complain about. We don't have a lot to complain about, but we got a lot to talk about on the show because a lot has happened, and I don't even know. We'll go around the horn and just get an overview, guys. What your thoughts and I think the first thing I want to touch on is in the sprint. We're gonna get to at some point, but in the sprint, should that have been a penalty for Mark when he crashed and then crossed the race line to exchange bikes to get into the paddock? But let's go around the horn, guys. Let's talk about the weekend. You start with TJ. What you thought, man? Watching it, the sprint. It was a month off. Can't believe it. It's kind of weird, man. It's weird, having three rounds and then that long break. I mean, it wasn't planned, but it happened. So it's nice to have MotoGP back for sure.
Yeah, this weekend round was it was really good. Didn't expect like the rain to happen, but as a fan, I love to see the flag to flag, the option to jump to another bike. It just makes things exciting and tests all the riders' limits, both sides on dry and wet. So it was just the first practice that they went out was dry, and then they had to qualify in wet conditions. So made things a little interesting. The sprint was very crazy. Like I think a lot of riders are trying to pull Brad Binder from a couple years ago, but it just didn't happen that way. I think half of the field crashed, and as far as the Mark Marquez, I feel like this guy makes rules. So he's the guy that will set trends to make a rule. So as long as his bike was running, I thought it was okay. But technically, he did pass the pit in. So I don't know. It's iffy, but what he did was pretty amazing. So.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into it more. So don't you worry. Save your thoughts there for that, because we'll keep it basic first and get crazy. Reese, man, you're muted, but we'll give you some time to get that mute off. You heard TJ sum up the weekend. What are your thoughts, man, about the weekend and just the craziness of the riders, the rain. Even Moto2, because Moto2 was all the classes was wilding out. I mean, I think you had to, if you didn't watch all the classes, you really missed out on. You just had the main course. You gotta have the early warm, as they say in the dance hall. What are your thoughts, Reese?
Nah, I actually got a chance to see all of it, man, and it was that was one of the craziest races I ever seen before. From Moto 2 to Moto 3 to even GP. That was just one of the craziest events, from the crashes to the people going down.
Yeah.
Even to piggyback off of what TJ said, I mean, I would have thought that he would have got the penalty, but apparently he didn't. Because if you paid attention, Top Rat got the penalty for crashing in, and with Jorge Martin got his penalty, so they were handing out the penalties, and he never got it. So I don't know if it was because of his hometown or who he is. It's almost, I was saying to a couple people, it's almost like the Jordan effect. You know what I mean? Like Jordan never got the calls, and here you are with Marquez. He doesn't get the calls. So,
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, race direction was like Oprah. Everyone's getting a penalty.
Right. Everybody got a penalty. But then again, is it in the rule books? Because he did cross into pit lane, but you crossed the grass and you went across the track.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into it after Lewis gets to get his talk. I mean, it's what they teach us when you get to the track for your very first time. I mean, if you just go on that, you know what I'm saying. What's going on, Lewis, man? What do you think of the weekend, man?
I saw nothing wrong. It was a great weekend. I saw no infractions. I don't know what anybody's talking about. I know what this. Everybody woke up this weekend looking for infractions. I saw great racing. I saw a lot of fun. I saw some crazy stuff, and it made for an exciting show. From Moto 2 to Moto 3 to MotoGP, all the races were exciting. I mean, even the practices were a little bit insane, but the show was great. It was entertaining. It was probably one of the more entertaining weekends. Anytime you throw rain into the mix, you're always going to get that wild card effect where that person that's usually finishing in 88th place has the opportunity to finish in the top 6 or 7, and they start doing crazy things because they're getting so close to the podium. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Saturday. I enjoyed Sunday. I think the right rider won on Saturday, right rider won on Sunday in all the classes. I didn't see any penalties, bro. And I'm not blind. We'll go into more detail, but I think that a lot of people that are complaining about penalties and this and that don't realize that Marc Marquez reads the rule book constantly and is always finding ways to piss Simon Crafer off.
Did you get roofied this weekend, man?
No. 100% sober, but I honestly think that Marc Marquez wakes up every morning looking at the rule book, trying to find some way, that gray zone where he's like, I'll make Simon Crafar's life miserable for fucking me with that penalty at the beginning of the year.
All right, so you got that. Reese got the Jordan rule, where it's just, and I forget what TJ said. He might have said something similar. But when we go to our first track day, when we go to race, if we get an accident, right, and if we can get back up and we're safe, get off the track. Wait for someone to tell us what to do. Yes, there was no.
Well, wait a second. Wait. Before you do that, last week when we waited for a track marshal to tell us what to do, we ended up getting a not actively competing and got fucked.
Right.
So again, the rules don't get applied evenly.
Well, this one should have been, because he's also past the pin entry, right? I'm just saying, but I'm just.
You're not reading the rules.
I'm going based on what they teach us when we go to pretty much every club racing.
Track day, right? Track day companies don't use the Dorner rule book.
What is that? There's no marshal to tell you don't move. You can do what you want to do.
No. The rule book did say as long as it's a certain length, pit in lane is a certain length. So he did pit in.
He did not. So the rules are very weird in this one particular area because there's courtesy rules. So obviously at the last moment, you're not going to cut across the track to pit in. Like the courtesy rule throughout racing and everywhere else is, you're going to pit in, you're going to put a hand up or foot out, you're going to get off the racing line, and you're going to merge into the pit out lane.
Okay.
That line that's painted there is for reference. That's not a line on the highway that you're not supposed to cross.
So what about
you can't cross that lane. as long as when you get into the pit lane area, you reduce your speed to the 60 kilometers an hour. So Marc Marquez wasn't doing more than 60 kilometers an hour when he crossed into pit out. So technically,
So let me ask you this, guy. So next time I change my mind, I should just pull off to the right, wait for traffic to go, and then shoot across the hot track and go to pit lane.
did you crash?
Oh, only if I crash. That's the
Only if
stipulation?
you crash. Only if you crash, and only if you're actually in a race that's making me money. If you crash at a track day, you do that, you're gonna catch a hot ass whooping in the paddock.
I don't think the rule book says only if you crash you can do this. I assume
You
when you
got
that
Let's go rule by rule, because there's really 4 rules in play here.
All
the
right.
first rule is the legal pit entry. How do you legally enter the pit?
Okay,
The only rule for entering the pit is you can't exceed 60 kilometers an hour.
got you.
It doesn't say you can't. Let's say I'm going through the pit loop and I lose a little bit of traction and I end up in the grass and I come back into the pit loop. I don't get penalized as long as I don't exceed 60 miles an hour. So if he crosses across the grass to get into the pit in loop, he really didn't. There's no rule that says you can't do that.
Suspect.
It's suspect. I'm not saying it's not suspect. This is the gray. This is the deepest gray that you can get gray. So like if you're on one side, you can have a good argument. You're on the other side, you can have a good argument. The next rule is, was he acting in a dangerous way?
Yes.
No. Because he looked to make sure there was no one coming when he cut across the track. So as long as you look and you make an act, like if he just jumped back on the track without looking, that's dangerous. He waited till the pack went by.
Yeah.
He saw an opening and he went across the track.
Hey,
so
listen,
technically, again, gray area. Mad gray, bro. This is that sweater gray that your girl steals from you every winter. That's that gray. That gray hoodie that gets stolen every winter, that's the color we're talking about.
So it's not your sweater anymore. So it's not even
your sweater anymore. Next rule. Did he get any substantial advantage?
Yes.
How did he get a substantial advantage? He didn't gain any places.
If he didn't crash, he would have been around another lap. And all those riders that pitted the right way, he would have missed out on. And
he didn't. But here's the thing: he didn't crash after the actual pit entrance. He crashed before the pit entrance. So he can actually, he didn't go backwards and go forwards. He kind of started the bike and went across the track.
Well, it was kind of like he kind of went back.
It was kind of like a 180/90.
It's kind of like a less than sign, kind of.
So if he had actually made the corner and passed pit entrance and then gone back and gone into pit entrance, now it would be an advantage because you need to complete that lap. He didn't need to.
All right. So
the last part is interpretation of the rules by the track steward. And the last thing Simon Crayford wants is the ire of the entire Spanish country in Jerez.
I know that.
For fucking Marquez.
So Reese, touch on the Jordan rule, because I guess that's the
Jordan rule.
That's the Jordan rule. I mean, Jordan can touch you, but you couldn't touch him, and he could do certain things, and you couldn't do it because, like Lewis said, he was the one making you money.
Yeah,
he was the one selling tickets.
Yeah,
the odds of his bike not shutting off, him like keeping control, and able to, because like if his bike turned off and he had to like jump start it, it'd probably been a different outcome. But
because if your bike shuts off, your bike shuts off, you gotta go behind the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
You're telling me there's not a do not shut off switch that they've all put in since this rule's been in place.
There's no tip over sensors anymore on any bikes.
I'm just saying, no bike is shutting off anymore in any of the classes. They all stay running now. Well, I don't know. It's just luck. Like Marquez says, I was just in the right place at the right time.
I'm telling you, it's sometimes he's on the good side of things, sometimes he's on the bad side of things. If you're a Marquez fan, you look at this as a positive. You're not a Marquez fan, you look at this as a negative. With that said, the same thing that he did at Coda, he interprets the rules in a way where he finds the gray zones and he takes advantage of the gray zones. He did it at Coda last year. And what did Dorna do? Dorna actually had to implement a new rule to make that gray zone black and white. And I'm sure after this event, I mean, Aprilia, I think, already filed a protest where they want to define the rules more black and white on what is entering the pit. Where is it that you're actually entering the pit? And if you cross across a solid line or do this and that, technically it's an infraction and you should get either a time penalty or a grid penalty the next race.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, Aprilia has the right to do that because, I think who knows, but from what I can tell, it seems like Aprilia has been playing fair and square, and they had a black eye all most of last year until Bezecchi started doing well, and they're like this, the Cinderella right story in a sense, and now you're trying to really squash that story because of your own, doing, for lack of a better word, Ducati, and I got two of them, but. I've been complaining about them since last year. Let's start about the beginning of the race. Let's talk us qualifying and just Friday between the weather. I mean, this is the second round where weather has been huge. Even weather was in Austin a little bit, but definitely in Brazil, and now we saw that. It was good to see Zarco up there qualifying the way he did and fought the way he fought. But let's talk about qualifying and what you guys see. And, is it just luck that happened or some of these riders just know how to handle changes better? We start with TJ.
Well, as far as qualifying,
Yeah,
or
man, qualifying, man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Q1,
like it's
Q2, Friday in general, I guess. The Friday.
I mean,
Of
Friday in
qualifying.
general was the first practice. Everyone feeling it out. Like the VR46 guys were looking good. Digi and Morbidelli. Um, but yeah, go leading into Q1. I mean, it's good to see Zarco come out of Q1 and actually do what he did the weekend. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like he was able to hold his own in both conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, even Brad Binder, he had a solid weekend. We don't hear his name a lot, but I think he was close to top 10 each race, I believe.
I think you
I
know
mean,
what? I think you're right. I'm gonna check. I think you're right. Like I think yeah. I think you're right there. Go ahead.
no, I mean the Yamahas are still struggling, but I mean going into Q2, I mean to see, um, you know, Mark, obviously you want to see him win, so he did what he had to do, and it was good to see Digi back on his feet. Haven't heard his name in a couple races, so he's been doing a lot better. But VR46 and obviously Aprilia has been up there, and Zarco definitely did his thing this weekend because I haven't heard his name also. So it was good to see a little shakeup. But the weather conditions definitely put the limits to a lot of riders to see what they can do. And the Ducatis look good in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
But in the dry, they're still struggling.
Yeah, they struggled a bit for some strange reason. Man, Reach, your thoughts on the weekend? Was you surprised at who you were surprised at the weekend? Because we're more Friday practice and Q1 and Q2. Because we talked before the weekend and now I didn't expect Alex Marquez to do what he did, but he found a way on Sunday. But what are your thoughts about Friday practice and Q1 and Q2?
I mean, I was definitely surprised by Alex. Alex was surprising because if you heard in a press conference, he didn't think he was going to go back to back. He was like, "There's no way he can repeat what he did last year at Jerez when he won, and now he won again." Um, so he didn't think he could do that. And coming into Jerez, he wasn't that he was really nowhere to be found. So him saying that he stopped looking at the negatives of the 26 GP and started looking at the positives, changed his whole mindset. It actually helped him out and turned his whole game changing around. I was surprised with him. I was definitely surprised with Al Gora. He actually stepped up and was surprisingly fast this weekend. I was definitely surprised at Johan Zarco. There was a couple people I was surprised with that actually started pushing along and started coming along very fast. So it was actually a surprise.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and I agree. I had them. I mean, I know the weather and the changes on Saturday conditions definitely kind of screwed some guys who were favored. But what they say, brave something favors the brave or something. Lewis, man, what are your thoughts, man? Practice and Q1, Q2.
I mean, for practice, the first two practices, I think the format now is really making every single session so important. You can't go out in FP1 and FP2 and screw around, because if you end up in Q if you end up having to go through Q1 to Q2 because your FP1 and your FP2 times kind of relegate you there, and then you get some weather conditions to mix in, you can miss out on a lot. You can end up really far back in the grid, and you could have a really bad start, or you could have a bad grid position, or there's so many things that can happen now. And this new format is really making free practice 1 and free practice 2 so important. And I don't know if it's for the betterment or the detriment of the riders, because now they can't really play around too much for the entire session with settings and so forth, because they do have to put in some hot laps to be able to get a good time. So, I like the format of having Q1 and Q2, because I used to hate having this qualifying session where you had 10 rolling roadblocks and 10 dudes that were like clearly going significantly faster, and they have to work their way around this slower traffic, and it impedes them into bad positions sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I also look a little bit at the negative, of where if somebody has a bad FP1, let's say I go out, I have a mechanical, FP1 is shot, I have no time. And then I go in FP2, and the best I can do is so much because I lost all of FP1. Now I'm relegated to having to go through both qualifying sessions to try to get up there in the grid. And then, God forbid, there's a rain or something during qualifying. Now, again, I'm being put in even a more difficult position. So come the race day, I'm starting from a grid position that really I shouldn't be starting from, but I am.
Right. Because on Friday, we had Alex Marquez, top of the food chain, Digi Abez, Mark Marquez, Agura, Bagnaya, Raul. There was some really top guys, and then weather came into play on Saturday.
Yeah, then it just throws a grenade in there, and everybody's all over the place. I still think the guys that are really good at mixed conditions, riding in the dry, riding in the wet, they're always going to find their way in the pack to get to the front. So that's why anytime you see like rain or mixed conditions, it's usually the usual suspects. You'll see a Mark Marquez up front. You'll see a Johan Zarco up front. You'll see a Binder. You see all these guys that are a little bit more proficient in mixed conditions and rain.
Right.
But then if you put it dry, some of those guys are all the way at the bottom.
Right. But in this instance, we didn't see that. You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask which one of these wet weather specialists was the most disappointing, because we got Marquez, we got Johan, but no one else. There's the Bender wasn't there. Miller wasn't there. I know Top Rock is new to MotoGP, but he's still nice in the wet. Were you surprised that these guys weren't the ones that were rising to the top? Because you look at Martina, Alex, and some of these other guys that got out to Q2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was surprising to not see some of the usual suspects in the mixed conditions doing a little bit better. I mean, we still had Zarco, we had Marquez, but outside, and Binder, Binder has always been known for being a wet weather specialist, and he was up there in the sprint during the rain.
Right. During the race, but not in Q.
Not in Q, yeah. But again, the wet weather specialists always find that way, and if they have the right timing and they're, if it's full wet, they're gonna get that extra advantage. But that's what I enjoy about these mixed condition weekends sometimes. Like, I don't want the whole weekend to be a washout, but if it rains on Saturday and it's dry on Sunday, I kind of like it because you get a little mix of everything.
So, okay. All right, guys. You heard Lewis's take, guys, on the wet weather guys. Let's talk about the sprint race. I mean, with 4 laps to go, and I'm sitting here thinking like, all right, they're gonna red flag this thing. There's no way they're gonna all of a sudden call flag to flag with 4 laps to go, but they did. and I didn't think it was going to rain as much as it did, but it did. So we'll start with TJ, man. What are your thoughts about that? The sprint race overall, because it was crazy in the beginning. Tell me what your thoughts, man, because the whole thing was wild.
Yeah, I might have to go back in the Rolodex. I don't know when the last time I seen a flag to flag in a sprint race. I know sprints is kind of new to MotoGP, but man, like you said, with 4 laps to go, it was just started drizzling in certain parts of the track. So you think they like whoever's in front will have time to get around, or because it's just 4 laps to go. That wasn't the case. People were falling left and right, and not only that, like I was listening to the intro before when they went on the grid, but I missed the part that the rain was coming. So I don't know if they mentioned that. With 11 laps, I think it was. If they didn't know, like that is very tricky, to try to pull out that wet weather specialist that you have in you, to make it fair game, because like full GP race you have time to manage. But with 4 laps to go, the strategies that these teams got to pull out was pretty crazy. And I mean, I don't think there was a strategy with Mark Marquez. That was just a fortunate situation, but at least Pecco got a dub out of it as well. But yeah, it was crazy with 4 laps to go, how they had to switch bikes, and I'm glad they didn't call it, because it makes it a lot really interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't call it either, because we would have missed out on the craziness that happened. Reese, man, what are your thoughts? You saw it. I'm pretty sure you've had similar situation in Moto America.
I mean, we haven't had that kind of craziness. I mean, normally we get 2/3 and they calling it. So we don't unfortunately have a backup bike for wet weather. We have to switch the whole bike to wet setup.
Right.
Um, but I mean, I know they did call it because I think it was like right when they were getting ready to the green flag, they actually switched to the pit, and you can see the crew guys bringing the rain bike out, getting it set up, and having it ready for a flag to flag, just in case it is a flag to flag.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm glad they didn't call it. It made for one hell of a show. But I mean, 4 laps to go, it was kind of crazy. I mean, like you said, it was just to not see some of the specialist guys up there, the wet weather specialists. I thought Jack would have been up there. I thought Top Rack would have been up there, Bender. I'm glad to see Zarco and everybody, but I would have loved to see those guys take advantage. But it was one of those conditions where in the beginning it was wet, but it wasn't wet enough for the rain tires, because they would have got chewed up so bad, and they didn't know if it was going to rain as heavy, and then it started raining really heavy. So it was just a weird situation. So I think if it would have started raining real heavy, I think we just saw a different kind of outcome with those guys.
Right. Right. Lewis, man. I mean, Bezecchi out, Martin out, Top Rock, Alex Marquez, your boy Mayor, Salvador, who was taken out by Top Rock, which was, I saw that and I'm like, bro, you're not stopping that bike. What are your thoughts, man, on the sprint race?
I mean, the sprint was pretty wild right from the beginning, right from Alex Marquez taking his tear off and getting it stuck under Bezecchi's tire. Like,
Bro, go ahead.
It seems to happen at least once a year where, they changed the rule where you can't take the tear off on once you're in the grid position. And, so if you look where Alex took it off, he took it off just as he's coming around the last corner. So technically he's not in the grid position, and he just kind of flicks it. And for some reason, tear-offs have this incredible gravitational pull to the rear tire of motorcycles, because they always end up under the rear tires of motorcycles.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell it is. I don't know if it's the aerodynamics package or what it is, but man, as soon as that thing got loose from the upper fairing winglet, it literally went straight to the rear tire. And so Bezecchi's race was going to be shot right from that point forward. And as soon as he started to push, it was just a matter of time that he was going to go down, with the conditions getting worse and mixed conditions and everything else. Johan Mir, I mean, I think now he is well on his way to establishing a new record for total amounts of crashes over like a 24-month period. I think he's well into his dude, he's got to be in the 30s of crashes in total, maybe even in the 40s, which is insane.
Yeah.
Alex Marquez, he's usually a little bit better in the rain, so I was kind of surprised that he went down. But again, I wasn't really surprised because you could tell he was really pushing the issue instead of kind of like letting the race come to him. And yeah, the top rack Salvadori crash, that was the end of race. Is the second the handlebar touched the ground, that was end of race. So
I thought Alex he went down before going to change tires, right?
Yeah, he went down on lap 8.
Yeah.
He went down before the tire change thing.
He stayed out a little bit too long.
Yeah. He pushed it a little bit. Like he thought I could get one more lap out of this, maybe get a little bit more room to breathe so I can pit. And he got all the room he wanted because after that he went to the garage and had a sandwich because he wasn't going back on the track.
Yeah, and I think Furman Aldeguer, another guy that waited too long, probably Bastianini, some of these guys that wait a little bit too long to get out there. But we talked about a little bit with Mark. Mark was on point with that one, right? And Bagnaia, coming from 18th to finish second, he led for a couple of laps. There's only a few of us still kind of looked up and go, I remember them days.
I think that might have been only you.
I don't think so.
But then Mark passed him, and I remember, and then we all said, "Oh, I remember those days."
Those days.
Those are the more recent days.
Even Morbidelli got up on the podium.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of Morbidelli? Well, let's talk about the Ducatis in the sprint. What do you think of Morbidelli's acceptance speech and saying this trophy goes out to the people that feel like they don't have a chance?
He knows it's his last one, but he put it in a well said version. Just more of to always go out there and compete no matter what you do, because you never know. Yeah. But in his sake, like that's the only way he's gonna win. But
right,
I thought it was well said.
There may be something going on there with him we don't know about. But anything else you want to talk about the sprint before we talk about the main race, TJ?
I mean, it was definitely going to be an icon race, so we're going to be watching that for years. And it's a nice short race, but definitely going to have to watch that again before the week's over.
Right. No, I feel really good for Binder because that's the highest he's gotten in a long time. Being the top KTM, they got to feel good under those circumstances. Reese, what are your thoughts on Morbidelli's talk? And as they say, when people say, well, so and so didn't crash, this person would have won, but you got to finish, right?
You got to finish, but with his speech, I think it was more of like, I don't know what to say, and this is for everyone already counting me out, and I already know I'm done. Because he already knows he's done. He knows he's not being re-signed. He knows his days are at, 26 is his last year here in the GP era, and he knows he should have been gone a long time ago, but for nobody believing in him. So he just tried to make the speech work, and I'm like, yeah, it's not really working for me, buddy.
Yeah. I will go ahead.
No. It was. I'm just saying. I don't. For him winning. I mean, that was literally the luck of the Irish.
Yeah, I mean, we can say that for a few of them, for sure. But you gotta be in the right places at the right time. You think he'll go to World Superbike?
I believe he will. I mean, that's the next stop for him. I think maybe he can re-energize his career a little bit and do a little bit better over there than he does. Maybe be better on a production bike versus a prototype.
Right. I hear you there, man. I hear you there. Lewis, man, what are your thoughts, man, on the sprint? Morbidelli,
Oh God.
Hey, I've been rooting for Morbidelli a long time. I had to get off the train because he just kept letting me down too much. But I still root for the guy. Like I don't wish him any kind of. I think with his limited English, this was kind of a way of him saying thank you to all my haters.
Mm-hmm.
Like in his own way of saying it, this goes out to all my haters.
Yeah.
Because he was like, for the people that keep getting pushed down, he's really talking about himself. People keep, kind of pushing him down, saying he doesn't belong in the paddock, this and that.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him on the podium. It's good to see him competitive. Obviously, it was in the rain, so there's like a little bit of a, I'm not going to say a little asterisk, but there's a little half asterisk next to it. I would like to see him on the podium one or two more times before the end of this year, because he is one of those guys that's on a chopping block. And as sad as it's going to be for him to leave the paddock, I think there's another Brazilian there, and there's other people coming up. So it's not, it's almost like, hey, we met our Brazilian quota. It's time for you to go.
I kind of feel like that. You know what I mean? It just, I kind of feel like that. But yeah, it is. I mean, I guess I think he has a point. Morbidelli has a point when it comes to when he was on the factory seat and got injured.
Yeah.
When he got the VR46 and started getting those silly penalties, I mean, that's all his own doing.
Yep.
No way around that part of it. And I think a lot of us kind of say, all right, bro, we can't keep singing your song when you keep shooting yourself in the foot.
I mean, I still think he's one of the top 20 fastest guys in the world.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. This guy can show up pretty much anywhere. And if he's on a competitive bike, he's probably going to clean up the field. Do I want him to go to World Superbike? To be honest with you, man, I would really, there's no incentive for him and there's no monetary reason to do it. But it would be great if somebody in Moto America in the paddock that has a competitive bike hired him to be in Moto America, to be very honest with you.
Yeah, no, he's not going to do that.
No, but you know what? I think if his choices are going back to the CIV or the Italian Championship or the Spanish Championship, because he did come from the Italian Championship.
Yeah, he'd probably take Bulaga's seat.
Or if Bulaga even gets a ride in MotoGP, because I mean, right now that's an ongoing fight trying to get Bulaga into a seat, because this team doesn't want him, that team doesn't want him unless they get concessions from Ducati, and this. There's a lot of moving pieces on trying to get Bulaga into MotoGP.
Okay.
But if he does get the Bulaga ride, I think he'll do not as good as Bulaga initially, but I think he can get up to a Bulaga status. I think he's that kind of a talent.
I would say he'd probably be the best MotoGP rider in a long time in World Superbike.
Yeah.
To come in if he goes there, right? Because all those other guys were, I always compare it to Moto 2 because you always remember when you were kicking somebody's ass, and he was doing that all day long to everybody.
But again, man, if somebody in the Moto America paddock has a competitive bike and squeeze together a couple $100,000 to pay him to come out here and race, if there's an opportunity for him to make more money via bonuses, contingencies, and everything else, I honestly think if he doesn't get a World Superbike ride, that would be an opportunity.
I mean, imagine if we started, giving sticky notes to a guy we know that worked for a Motor America team that he can just kind of leave every once in a while when he goes to the track. We might be able to make that happen if we only knew a guy like that.
We knew a guy.
I don't know who y'all talking about. I ain't got no guys for y'all. I don't think our bill can fit the budget on Crash.
It's penalties, not crashes. But more
it's penalties, not crashes. How many guys can he punt into the third row before Motor America starts black flagging him?
I don't think we can front that bill.
No, I don't know about that. We'll see. But we wish him well. I definitely wish him well. And it's tough when anyone is leaving the top level of any sport. But let's talk about the main race, guys. We saw the silliness. I said Aprilia all day for our little game we have going on here and stuff like that. So after seeing Saturday, I was just kind of like, man, I don't know. But they definitely look good on Sunday. It seemed like to a degree between Ducati and Aprilia, the riders made a difference to where we had the 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5. And we had not that many changes, but the 2 changes in manufacturers. We start with TJ, man. What do you think on Sunday GP race?
No, it was definitely an exciting start. It sucked to see Marco down so early, trying to keep up. His brother definitely had a faster pace, and I mean, yeah, he just wanted to win. But the Aprilia is definitely looking good. It was good to see, Igor come from a little far back, make his way past a couple riders. I mean, like we was talking about, Zarco was holding his own, but as the race gone on, he kind of slipped back a little bit. So like Martin, Igor, and Raul, they all seem to go past them. But yeah, the Aprilia is doing really good. The battle is pretty tough between Ducati and Aprilia right now, but Aprilia got the one step up on them, and all their riders are doing really well right now. So
Right.
for the most
So
part.
it sounds like it's safe to say Alex Marquez is faster than Digia on the Ducati, and Bezecchi is faster than Martin on the Aprilia.
Yeah, I would say that for sure. I
Mhm.
mean, you can say certain races someone can be faster, but I would say overall, I think Bezecchi has that bike dialed in. Martin's still learning. I mean, I think Bezecchi's just kind of, you know, obviously this rain race, it was a different aspect, but his sprints
Right.
haven't been that great. So, but I think overall, I think Bezecchi's faster and definitely Alex. Alex hasn't really shown himself this much this year, but hopefully this is a little start. We'll
Right. I
see about
agree.
next round because I know Zarko going in the Honda. I know what
Oh
happened
yeah.
last year at Le Mans, so
Yeah.
we'll see if this helps Zarko where he finished. But his Ducatis and Aprilia's looking good right now. Or the
Okay.
Aprilia's looking good.
Yeah, no, that's what's up, man. I think that it was pretty interesting to see. Reese, man, I mean, I've been saying this forever. The younger brother should be smashing the older brother in competition because that's how it should be. And I saw it this Sunday, and I'm like, this has to go on for the rest of the season. He's just gonna. Alex is just like, finally, I'm stepping out of the shadow like Michael Jackson. Or was it the pressure of Alex Marquez that caused Mark Marquez to crash? I can't even believe we'll be saying these things. Pressure, but something made him crash.
I mean, you could say that, but I mean, if you look at the replay, look at his front tires. I don't even know what the heck. The front end just washed away. I mean, it's nice to see the younger brother, smash the older brother, and actually, he's been fast. The younger brother was fast all weekend, so it was actually nice to see that. It goes the same thing with my younger brother. I like to see him destroy me in certain things. You know, um, but I don't think it was a pressure with Mark. I mean, I think Mark thrives on that kind of pressure. I don't even think that actually gets to him at this point. At this point, it's like, what do you got to prove? Whereas,
Right.
he's in accomplished almost everything. He's tied with Rossi. He's tied with one of the greats. He is one of the greats. To come back off of the injury and go to another team and win the championship. I mean, that was a big step right there. So what else do you have to accomplish?
Okay. So it's more just kind of like last year in the sense of just working out the gremlins in the beginning of the season,
I
and
think that's what it is.
he'll sort it out because it's as he said it was a mistake on his part because he did something different that time around.
I think it was. I think it was just a dumb mistake. Front end washed out, and that was it. That was the end of that race.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Uh, Lewis, man, what are your thoughts, man? Alex Marquez is back. I mean, I heard we all heard him shouting, "Alex, Alex, Alex." It's
It's the home round half a second, man. I always tell you, when you're in your home round, you always find that little bit extra speed. Where's that speed the last 3, 4 rounds?
in this case, though. I mean, there's a lot of Spaniards, man. He was the only fast one.
He was, but he was significantly faster. So, maybe he had a 3/4 or 1 second home track advantage. Either way, like he did his job. He went out there, he did what he had to do. Now let's see if he can go back to being the Alex Marquez of last year that doesn't have a one flash weekend, but has this consistent pace where he's constantly in the top 3, the top 4, every weekend, week out, even throughout all the sessions, FP1, FP2, qualifying. If he can kind of get back to that consistency level, like that's where we want to see him, because last year that's where he was for 80% of the season. It's just after the summer break last year that he kind of really fell apart and started having a lot of problems. And hopefully he got everything together. He's starting to figure out how to ride the bike with the, accenting, using the positives and kind of understanding the negatives and getting the most out of the positives and
Mhm.
minimizing the negatives. If he can do that, I think he's got a great opportunity. He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that we expect to be up there. After last year, I don't expect this guy to finish outside of the top 5 at the end of the year.
I agree.
So, now's the time for me. Maybe sometimes you need some of these guys need to that European reset. They go to Europe, all of a sudden they're back at tracks they like, they're back at tracks they know, they're able to use some data that they've used in the past, they understand how these tracks lay out. At Aragon, he's usually very, very fast as well as a couple of other tracks in Europe. So let's see how everything goes throughout the European rounds. And once we leave the European rounds, that's when I think we get a little bit more clarity into what the season actually looks like. You
Right.
start this season not on Europe, you start the season in South America, you come to the US, you're traveling across the globe, different time area, different time changes. You don't have your home fans, you don't have your family. Let's see what happens now that they're in Europe, now that everybody's on level footing. And let's, almost like a reset to the year. The first 3 races of the year were kind of like a warm up. And now it's like the season's actually starting.
All right. I don't like how that sounds for the people who live in other places, but I'll let that slide. Let's talk about Ducati a little bit. We got Grassini 2026. We got VR46 2026 outshining the factory guys. What's up with that? We heard about the beef beginning, between Grassini and VR46 as far as who should be getting what. I mean, they seem to have a leg to stand up to say, hey, maybe we should get 4 bikes next year because we're beating you guys. What are your thoughts on that, TJ? Is it too soon to even make noise? But like, we got satellite guys, satellite teams, privateer teams that's outshining the factory teams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how unusual this is. Usually the factory is always the one setting the example, but I think it's too early to panic. It's good to see that the satellite teams are doing well, but obviously the factory wants to, be on top. I just think they're trying to figure something out. I think they're, uh, I think they're almost panicking because they could just see how strong Aprilia is. So, but I don't think it's a. I think if another couple races go by and the satellite teams definitely hand it to the factories, then I don't think they'll have to worry. But I don't think they have to panic. Like,
All right, Reese, man. Listen, I mean, when you used to tasting that prosecco, man, now all of a sudden you're watching, the people that get parts after you just starting to drink the prosecco. Got to kind of sting a little bit. You agree with TJ as far as no need to worry, Ducati will figure it out, or this is just kind of where we're at, where Tech and Cruise are able to compete with the factory guys.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely an inside rival. I mean between the satellite and the factory boys, there's definitely a little bit of a rival because it happens even in our series. You definitely want to outshine them and beat them. So it definitely stings when you see them up there and none of your guys are there. So yeah, that definitely hurts. But as far as hitting the panic button, no, still way too early. You still got what I think 16 something. It's still too many races left to be hitting the panic button just yet. And I think that when I just checked today, what Mark is sitting 44 points out from first. So, I mean, you still
Yeah,
got plenty of time. Huh?
you got plenty of time.
Yeah, you got plenty of time. I mean, you still got sprint races between sprint and, Sunday's race. You still got plenty of time. It's only going to take just that one DNF to put you back up top.
Yep. No, I hear that. I hear that. Lewis, man, what are your thoughts, man? That all of a sudden parts start showing up late at Grassini and VR46. You told me it's gonna be here yesterday.
I would not be surprised if chains start breaking all of a sudden. No, man, it's still early. We're 4 rounds into a 20-round season.
Yeah.
It's still too early to hit the emergency panic button. I mean, yeah, you want to see some results sooner than later, but it's still a little too early to hit the panic button. We don't know what's going to happen as the season goes out. We don't know what, God forbid, injuries are going to pop up. what other technical issues are going to happen. I mean, there's still a lot of season to go. I still have the top 7 guys in my list are still the top 7 guys that I think are going to be there at the end of the season. You know, I don't think the names are going to be different. Maybe the order will be different than I expected, but I think the top 7 guys are going to be the top 7 guys. It's what the interesting part about this year is going to be is a lot of the teams, or almost nobody, has really released where they're going yet. A lot of guys have signed contracts, and outside of 1 or 2 things that have leaked because riders are really pissed that they didn't get a ride, so
they just say it right on air.
They drop names like dime dropping, yo. It's like, I'm telling you right now, do not rob a bank with Alex Rins. He is a dime dropper.
They just say, but go ahead.
They don't even have to say who did it. He'd be like, look, here's their phone number and address. You can go get them right now.
Right. I got him on camera. I took a selfie.
Yeah. But I think there's going to be, once that next shoe drops, and I think it's going to drop once Dorna and the teams and Liberty finish their contracts. Once their contracts as an organizational level are done, then you're going to see the team contracts. And once you see the team contracts, you might actually start to see some guys drop, because if you're not going to be here next year, you ain't going to get the newest part.
Right.
It's going to be like, hey, give Bezzecchi that really shiny new part and give that worn out shitty part to good old Jorge Martin. I mean, he ain't going to be on his bike next year.
Which is it's the name of the game. So I mean, there's nothing that we can do about that part of it. What did you guys think? I mean, again, Digia is doing phenomenal, right? Because that's somebody who I didn't think we would be saying his name. We said he was struggling last year along with Morbidelli, and we said it was one of those riders that may have to kind of save himself. But it looks like he might have a job next year the way he's been riding this season so far. So I was expecting Martin to be a bigger standout, which he is. He's standing out, but Digia is doing it quietly and doing it in a way where he's the top Ducati. So Martin can't even say that on Aprilia. What are your thoughts on what Digia is doing, TJ?
He's doing really well. I mean, what was it? Termas, when he was fighting with Mark, going back and forth. So like he's been front running probably half of this season. But I think he's been doing really well. And I agree with you. He's been very quiet about it. But hopefully we keep seeing his name and him being at least top 5, because he definitely, from his path, I think he definitely deserves it. And I just think he's doing really well as far as starting the season.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's winning though. Needs to be on the podium.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if any guy in Ducati I want to see win is him, because he has he didn't have the same luxury as a lot of these other guys coming into MotoGP, and he had to earn his spot. It continue to earn it. I'm not to say they all don't, but some of these guys, get enough credits that they can burn a little bit of credit before they lose their spot. The bird. What are your thoughts on Aprilia, Reeves? I mean, Fernandez is. I mean, and we all kind of know that Ayagura it looks to be leaving. So I mean, it looks like Fernandez is trying to be, the number 3 Aprilia. What are your thoughts on what Fernandez and Agura is doing, and even Martin?
Who the hell would have saw Fernandez coming that strong?
Right.
Like, I've never in my life would have saw him. I thought he was a back marker. But
yeah,
but I mean, he's pulled out strong. I mean, he's trying to prove a point. Our is still proving a point. I mean, he passed Fernandez. He went up there, and he was on a move, on a charge. So I didn't see him leaving. I didn't think he would have. I thought he would have stayed.
Right.
But apparently he wants to leave. I mean, as Lewis would tell you, I mean, it's something about that factory money and just sitting in that factory seat and getting every bit of little perk that everybody wants.
Right.
It's just something about it.
It must be, man, because I mean, look, Well, you know, Honda wanted him initially. He said, "Nah, man, I don't want that ride." Went to Aprilia. Like he would have had a home at Aprilia for a long time, and maybe even had a shot at a factory seat at Aprilia. I mean, I guess if Bagnaia is signing 4-year deals and so is Bezecchi, then I mean, I guess you ain't got no choice but to go to Yamaha.
I mean, you're right. I mean, with them guys signing the factory deals already, or Bezecchi signing a factory deal, and so far as Bagnaia, it just hasn't been announced. Um, that could have set them off and said, listen, I want a factory seat. They're going to offer me a factory seat. I'm out of here. You know, and a lot of guys are saying about, oh, why Yamaha? I'm like, but again, as I said it before, we're going into a whole new era. No one knows what the heck anybody's going to do. So it's kind of everybody starting out on a blank canvas.
Right.
So, you look at Lewis over here shaking his head, but it's about as blank as his head.
What are your thoughts, Lewis, on that, man? Should he have stayed? Should he have gone? I guess we'll be able to answer it at the end of next season. But I mean, he's riding like he deserves a factory seat. It's fair to say.
Yeah, he is. But there's only so many factory seats. So if you get an opportunity for a factory seat, even if it's not on the best bike, sometimes you got to take and gamble on yourself and hope that your talent can at least make you the best at the worst bike.
Right.
Look at Quartararo. Everybody wants Quartararo, even though he's on the worst bike, because they still know he's the best guy on the worst bike. If you put him on a good bike, he's going to be significantly better.
Yep.
So if you know where you're at now, you have zero opportunity to get a factory ride for possibly 2, 3, or 4 years. You already got to start thinking about your future, man. Do I really want to stay on this satellite bike, even though it's a competitive bike, for another 2 years, making 30% of what I'd make if I went to a factory team today?
Right. So it's not about the women's.
Yeah, man.
A little bit. He might be the first Japanese rider on a Yamaha factory seat in a long time, much less a Yamaha bike in a long time.
I don't even remember when there was the last time. Damn, when's the last time there was a Yamaha MotoGP?
07? I think there would have been somebody on a Kawi when Kawi was still in GP. Before what's his name that used to run America? Hopkins left and went to Yamaha. Who was on it before him? I think it was a Japanese rider that was on it. But no, there was a Yamaha. There was a guy. I think there was a guy on Yamaha too, but he might not have been on the factory seat, unless it was on the Camel. But someone in the Yamaha was Camel. They had the Camel paint. So it was a minute ago. So that'll be pretty impressive for next season. Let's talk before we get out of here.
Ooh, it looks like the last one was or full-time rider. Not the last full-time rider was Noriyuki Abe.
Yeah,
2004, man.
Yeah, it was a grip. First year for the thousands. Or was that 2002? I forget.
Something.
It's just something. It was a long time ago.
It's a long time ago.
It was when Troy was still in. TJ was still in.
TJ was still in diapers.
And we did rewatch our history over the winter. I think it was 2002 or 3. No, because Hayden came in 04, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was already the thousands then. Yeah. So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was 02.
I think it'd be good for Yamaha to have a Japanese rider, and to be honest with you, I mean Agura is a quality rider. Yep. I think he's a guy that you can keep on your team for a very long time. You can grow a team around him, and if he's on the right bike, I mean, who knows, man? He might be the first Japanese MotoGP champion in a long time if Yamaha can actually put a package together that's going to be competitive.
It's also fair to say he's one of the most consistent guys since Pedro Acosta in a long time that's come up the ranks from Moto 3 to Moto 2 to GP.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know if anybody else saw it, but this was horrible to get where Juan Mir had a double lap penalty.
Yeah.
That's at least 5 to 8 seconds.
Yep.
where you still caught up to the Yamaha guys
Yep.
and passed them
Yeah.
and was catching Quattraro.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is bad.
I don't know exactly what Quattraro had said, but I know he said something where he wasn't too happy.
When
I think he said, I don't know the exact quote, but I know he made a quote where he was like,
fuck this.
this is some fucking bullshit.
Listen, man, it's no fun hanging out at the back. So,
I mean, you got to look at it. All Yamaha guys, it was all three were the last guys besides Quattraro up in a little bit, like a couple more space up it. But all three of them were the last three guys. That's horrible.
That's. Are they just trying to get just as much practice time as possible so they can work on the 850? They're just tanking it.
I'm that's what I'm wondering. I mean, isn't there a rule if you were that bad? It's almost like in the NFL when you throw the last couple of games to get the first round pick.
Yeah.
If they do bad enough, do they get more concessions from Dorna next year to maybe do more testing or something? Because I mean, that's what it's looking like right now, man.
They're like they're just tanking. They're like it's a tank job.
Just leave it in rain.
They're gonna use the same engine. Just throw the engine they got into the new bike because it seemed like they're 850 cc's now.
Well, I mean, listen. This is a show. We should at least somewhat be analytical. When KTM came out, they were pretty bad too when they first came to MotoGP. It took them a while to sort it out. I mean, this is Yamaha's first year on the V4. Let's make fun of them after year 3.
They've been in MotoGP forever. And
they
were in the shit box forever. They were a very, very competitive bike. Them and Honda have the same curve. They were super competitive until they weren't competitive, and now neither one is competitive. And Honda is actually becoming competitive, but Yamaha is still way behind the curve, man. Like way behind. Like they shouldn't be that far behind the curve, is my feeling.
Okay.
Right, but it's everybody's turn. Everybody has their shit box, as Lewis will say, time in a shit box, and then the next, couple years they'll end up coming up and then taking over. So it's everybody's turn to have a shit box. Because Ducati wasn't doing nothing for a while, and then they all of a sudden, soon as Gigi appears, here they come.
Right. All right. Well, go ahead.
Aprilia was a shit box when it first came out.
That's what I'm saying. So it should be changes. Yamaha's been around forever. So the fleet line is harder to turn around when you're that big. It's hard to be that nimble and stuff like that. So should we at least give them, the grace of at least a year, or they should sort it out a lot quicker, like Honda?
I mean, they've had quite a few years now where they've been significantly far back and not coming forward.
When you bring facts like that, Lewis,
I think the problem is sometimes these factory teams take too long to move pieces around. They keep the team managers a little too long. They keep the lead engineers a little too long. They keep certain pieces a little too long.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things you have to learn is sometimes you gotta change the pieces up. You gotta change the general manager. You gotta change the head coach. You gotta change the offensive coordinator. If you're year after year, you're seeing a slow decline, somebody above the racing manager at Yamaha should have told Lynn Jarvis, hey, it's time for you to go.
Right. So you're saying they're no longer the Spurs or the Steelers. They're more like the New York,
now they're the
New York Jets. Sorry,
the New York Jet. I mean, man, that's bad. But no. I'll give you a better example. They're the Cowboys. Okay. They're the Jerry Jones that refuses to realize that he sucks at being a general manager and keeps getting shitty ass players, and then keeps wondering why he doesn't win a championship. That's where they are.
All right.
Hey, Lewis, you just threw us down the box.
Lynn Jarvis is the Jerry Jones of Yamaha.
But he left. He's retired.
He left though.
He left too late.
Well, listen, if Jerry has still there, so at least he left before Jerry.
At least he left before the entire team just collapsed.
Hey,
I would
listen.
hope that Yamaha will be much better than where they at right now. Like especially how many races we're in. They're still all at the bottom pretty much.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
all I
they
can
need to
say is on this
improve.
side, we doing very well. That's all I can say. On this side of
That's
the
good.
box.
Yeah,
And
but
Ooh.
you're in Superbike. Outside of Ducati, nobody's putting money into Superbikes. So even if you roll out a 20-year-old R1, it's still because ain't nobody
Don't
else really
matter.
cutting the edge that much sharper. BMW
Who?
and BMW and Ducati are the only two companies that are actively putting a lot of money into developing a leader bike for the street. Yamaha and
Yup.
Suzuki and Honda and Kawasaki keep rolling out their tired ass packages year after year with bold new graphics, and it's the same shit we would have bought 10 years ago.
Hey,
It
man.
just happens to be that you guys keep improving the ship box just enough to stay competitive with these newer bikes.
well, that's all you got to do.
Hey, it's all we got to do, man.
That's
Listen.
bullshit.
And
Nah. Listen. My man Vin Diesel said it best. Don't matter if you win by
Family?
inch or a mile. Winning's winning. Shit.
well, on that note, guys, let's get out of here. Winning is winning. My name is Rex 45. It's the Be Forever Cool podcast. On thank TJ with Two Wheels and Coffee, Reese from Attack Yamaha, the real Louis Ortega, the numbers guy. Peace.
Peace. Family.